Welcome to the February edition of Inside the Dragons. Today's edition is being brought to you from our administrative offices, where our leadership team is working collaboratively on various projects. In this particular edition of Inside the Dragons, you will see 4 segments. The first one is going to be sharing with you our sellout program, which is run by the leadership class at the high school. This year, this is the 4th time that we've done this, and this year our students raised over $7,000 total for soldiers so that they have minutes to communicate with their families. This is an exciting opportunity and one that really shows how much our students care and really take into account giving back. The second segment is on powerlifting. This is our boys and girls powerlifting program, which really continues to grow and grow in Lake Orion. And the amazing thing is that our kids get up and practice at 5:45 in the morning. With so much success that they've had, the powerlifting program has truly grown over the years. The third segment is on something called Schools to Watch. Oakview Middle School is one of our schools to watch, recognized nationally as a school that is very important as a middle school. This year we will be having a visit where the program directors will be coming to see various aspects of the programs. And finally, this is the time of year that we award our Teachers of the Year. This is a program that is run by the county, where we recognize and honor exceptional teaching. In fact, we had one teacher, Scott Maxfield from Orion Oaks, who was being honored this last week by WNIC for the Dunkin' Donuts Award for Teacher of the Year. Please enjoy our show.
The morning of January 12th started earlier than most at Lake Orion High School. The LOHS leadership students filed in around 6 a.m. Everyone in matching camouflage shirts. Each said "Sellout for Soldiers" on the front and the date on the back. From the start, everyone knew this was a special day. It's the year's biggest moment for the leadership class, the annual event to raise money for soldiers to call home to their families while deployed. The intent is to have every student in the school turn in their cell phone for the day as a symbolic gesture. Months of planning emerged in a flurry of excitement and optimism. For each phone submitted, $1 was donated by the leadership class to the cellphonesforsoldiers.com charity. The class held fundraisers leading up to the sellout, using some of those funds to support the soldiers and to make the donation.
Sellout went really well today. Everyone coming in was really excited about it. Everyone seemed to turn in their phone. There was really high energy, and I'm just really happy about how it turned out.
In terms of the program, what was kind of the focus today?
The focus was on the soldiers, on the troops. Every phone that was turned in was $1 towards helping soldiers talk to their families back home. And everyone loves the U.S., so they all came together for our soldiers and turned in their phone for the day.
You've been a part of this all 4 years. Seems like it keeps growing.
Yeah, our first year we did it, everyone was really excited about it, but some people were unsure, and this is my 4th year of seeing it, and it seemed like everyone was about it, and it's really exciting to see.
Now, in the 4th year of the program, the procedure is down to a science. The leadership students set up in the main lobby of the school and have each student place the phone in a plastic bag for protection. Their class for the end of the day is written down and cataloged with the phone. Then they're given a slip to receive their own t-shirt, black this year, commemorating the event. With music playing in the background, the atmosphere feels like a party, hoping to entice those unsure students to join in the movement. After submitting their phone, the students head off for the rest of their day. The leadership class takes the phones to a separate staging area and sorts them into buckets by their class to be returned at the end of the day. After 4 years, the system is familiar. The students trust that nothing will happen to their phones. That led to 86% of the students in the school that day turning in their phones, an especially impressive number given the impending weather that Friday.
My great. The fact that it is currently 7:45 a.m. and we've got the main entry of Lake Orion High School clear, and I think we had an excellent turnout, and now we just get to sort 2,000 cones.
It seemed like there was a lot of energy, a lot of kids were willing to do it and move in and everything. I mean, what was the kind of the thing that stood out to you the most?
Well, the thing that stood out to me the most this year is this is year 4 for us, so every kid in the building has now participated in Sellout, and so it's a really neat thing for the freshmen who are new to the building this year to kind of get enveloped into the spirit of Lake Orion High School and the spirit of Sellout. Our seniors started it 4 years ago when they were freshmen, and now they've gone through 4 years, and every kid in the building now knows what Sellout is.
With the media attending and sharing the unique event, the possibility for Sellout to expand in future years continues. Schools from across the state and beyond are taking notice and inquiring, hoping to replicate the program. Once again, Lake Orion is on the cutting edge. One of the most consistently successful athletic programs at Lake Orion High School doesn't involve a ball, a puck, or a pool. It continues to soar in popularity, even as there is barely enough room to hold all of the participants and is not an MHSAA-sanctioned sport. With both boys and girls teams, powerlifting creates an opportunity for any student interested in joining the program to have their chance.
Kids want a place to lift where they're supervised. They want to be together. And they find that you don't have to be a great athlete to lift. We've got it. This is their only sport. They come in and lift and they compete at meets. They don't have to jump high, run fast, hit a baseball, but they can lift weights. And it's something they do for the rest of their life. I think that's why it exploded. If you ever come to a meet and see these young men and women compete, there is a big, it fuels their competitive fire to make themselves better, competing against other schools, competing against themselves. And a great day, they may finish in 12th place, but they did 2 personal bests out of their 3 events. They've had a great day. And that helps them, I think, with their self-esteem. But it's just, there's a lot of competitive fire in that weight room. And there's a big team bonding when they're in there, because it's a shared work ethic and at times shared misery, because it's hard work in that weight room, and that's what brings out when you see the content. You will never see quick gains. It is a process. It's a long-term process. For some of the seniors, they look back when they were freshmen and how little they lifted. Now, how much they lift, and they're not bulky, and they're still very lean athletes, but they're just physically stronger. Their self-esteem's up, everything.
There's been a lot of success in the program and meets and things like that. What do you think? What do you attribute that to?
A lot of it is this community. It's people are amazed how our kids act at meets, and I think that's part of our success. We've won 3 state titles. We just won a boys regional this past Saturday. Girls took second in their regional. But they are amazed how our kids act, how polite they are, how respectful they are. And they ask, how do you do that? I said, it's just how they are taught, they are raised, and that's part of this community, and that's a big thing.
The fact that they can do that and have success reinforces it to some extent?
Exactly, because it is a lifelong behavior that they have been taught when they were younger. We reinforce it here at the high school and in meets, but other schools are just amazed how our kids act at meets.
The show of commitment begins in the early morning as the boys lifters arrive around 5:30 a.m., even in the freezing temperatures, essentially opening the building for their practice. They sign in to show their attendance. Usually there are at least 60 boys, and open with running and stretching. As they warm up for practice, they prepare to support each other. They're on the team for all different reasons, but everyone is passionate about the opportunity.
I decided to join the team because I just wanted to get big. I've always wanted to be big and strong when I was younger. This is the perfect way to start.
I decided to go to powerlifting because I'm in football and I play O-line. I'm kind of a smaller guy. and build some more mass and more muscle, so next year I can compete with them better.
The team building in the weight room is probably the most thing that stands out to me. I really like coming every morning and seeing everyone give up their time and wake up and cheer each other on when they're like going for a lift and things like that.
The teamwork, everybody cooperates with each other, they all work with each other. It's just a great environment.
Seems like it could be the other way. It could be, maybe overly competitive and guys trying to, beat each other. Do they support each other? Is that kind of the way?
They always support each other. I haven't seen a point where one's getting down on somebody else. It's always everyone's being a team.
We have found out, especially with the boys, that once they lift their weights, they seem to be much more alert in school. They have a great day, and then in the afternoon they can find a job. They can do their thing. So it works out really well for the boys.
Seems like they've responded well to being here in the morning. It's something that it's not a drudgery task. It seems like it's
Yeah, one year we tried to go, instead of at 5:30 in the morning, we went 4:30 in the afternoon. Attendance went down. It wasn't consistent. Once they get into that routine, they like it because it starts their day off, and they love it.
When you heard 5:45 a.m., what was your thought about that?
I thought there was no way I was going to get up at this time, and because I could just barely wake up at like 6:30. But I mean, it's not that bad. You get used to it after a few days.
Do you think there's some benefit to it?
Oh yeah, there's a big benefit to it. You gain a lot of weight, gain a lot of muscle, gain a lot of mass. You just get bigger.
When you heard it was going to be at 5:45 practices in the morning, I mean, was that dissuade you, or were you kind of like, this is?
I mean, not really. Since I've been doing it since freshman year, I kind of know the routine, and it's always been that early, and makes me ready for it instead of wanting to sleep in. I'm looking forward to waking up at 5:45 every day.
Are you surprised that there are 60 guys who kind of show up at 5:45 in the morning to do this?
No, I'm not. This is a great activity to do. I love it. I can't wait for next year. It's just overall a great time.
It takes a different person to do this sport and to want to lift heavy and to want to put that much stress on your body and your central nervous system. And these people, my teammates and everything like that, we all give that, and that's what's unique about us.
I think the reason for their success is how hard Lake Orion pushes themselves, and the coaching. The coaching is really good.
The coaching, definitely. Our training methods are very good, and the consistency and intensity that we have is insane.
Whatever the stigma existed before is gone, as the women's program continues to draw athletes from other sports in their off seasons and students who choose only powerlifting.
Lake Orion Powerlifting Program is a really great program here we have at the high school, and I wanted to get involved because I have a passion for lifting and working out, and I think that working out with girls and practicing barbell movements are very healthy, and it teaches girls that strength is something that we should strive for physically, and I think it's just really overall very healthy for girls to do.
I got into it because I wanted a team event that I could compete individually, and so I started off as the only freshman my freshman year, and there was only 12 girls on the team, and now that I'm a senior we have over 80 girls.
Wow. Is the motivation something you saw when you were younger? Did you know someone in the program, or was it just you heard about it?
I was actually in the basketball program for a couple years, and I decided to switch over because I realized that I like training for basketball and the actual lifting more than I liked playing basketball. So that's how I kind of developed a passion for lifting, and then ever since I've really enjoyed the team and enjoyed the community here.
I play softball, so my coach and a couple of my other softball teammates referred me and said that they think I would be good at it, and I was kind of hesitant, but I'm really glad that I started because it's kind of made me a better player.
It's made you a better softball player?
Yes.
A power lifter?
Yes.
How so?
Well, you're lifting weights, so you're gaining muscle, and then, for example, like when I go to hit now, I just have more power behind the ball, so it can help you with all the other sports too, because you're working out and then you're toning. So.
And why is it so large now?
When I started, it wasn't known about as much, and so people didn't know what to expect when they came in, but we've done a really great job of telling people about it and explaining what it is, and so lots of girls want to get involved. It's only like 30 girls, so going from like this from that to this, it's amazing.
And what is the benefit of having so many?
You have a better chance of like placing in the top 3, and that's where you get the most points. So the more lifters you have going, the higher chance of getting a higher place, and then your place points come to your team points.
Compete in 3 lifts. You get 3 attempts at each lift, so we start off with squat, and then we bench, and then we deadlift, and the winner is the girl that has the highest total in each weight class. And I really like competing because it's really fun to push yourself, and cheering on for our teammates is also really great too.
In terms of the competitions, and as you go through them, is there like a lot of rallying? I mean, it seems like that's something where the energy would help your adrenaline, right?
Yeah, like we can usually lift a lot more in competition just because it's so high energy, the adrenaline's flowing, you're competing against other people. It's a really fun time, and I love being able to push myself.
The overall program had 8 lifters 13 years ago, and now have over 150 participating this season. In mid-January at the North Branch Regional, the men won their division. The varsity women finished second, and the JV women finished third. The future of both programs is bright.
I have done CrossFit and lifting on my own and have really enjoyed it. And then a friend of mine was coaching the boys team and talked me into getting involved with the girls team. And I've stuck with it because it's a lot of fun to see our girls get stronger and feel more empowered and feel more confident in themselves.
The last 3 years, it sounds like the numbers have just exploded in terms of how many girls. Why do you think they're so interested?
I think it's a couple of things. I think that we've had a fair amount of success as a team over the last 3 years, and so I think word gets around the school that way. It's a sport that attracts all grades, all shapes and sizes. You don't have to have a ton of natural athletic ability to be able to move a barbell, and I think culturally we're definitely moving in the direction of valuing women as being strong. CrossFit's becoming a bigger sport, which brings a lot of our girls in from that. So I think it's a number of reasons.
In terms of the competitiveness and when they're involved in competitions and stuff, why do you think the success has come so frequently?
Oh gosh, I just think like the work ethic, the girls are seeing the return for the work that they're putting in, and they see that the harder they work, the better off the return is going to be. And so in terms of powerlifting in a competition, the more it's truly a strength in numbers, and so as our team grows, we tend to do better from a point standpoint, from learning and pushing each other, and just a variety of reasons.
Is there misconceptions about powerlifting, or do you think?
Yes, but it's getting better. For a long time, you'd hear girls say, "Well, I don't want to get big and bulky from lifting a barbell." You would have to drastically change your lifestyle in order to get big and bulky, and I think they're starting to realize that. I have girls that weigh as little as 100 pounds on up to 240.
And in terms of the competition, is that something that kind of grows too? The more they go through it, the better they get at it?
Oh yeah, definitely. Usually when they go to their first meet, it's a little bit about survival. And maybe they can do something that they didn't move the bar 5 pounds heavier than what they thought they could, and then as they experience more meets, they start to figure out the strategy behind it a little bit. They start to figure out the team point aspect behind it, and so that definitely plays into the competitiveness.
In terms of Lake Orion having so much success and becoming known for it at some point, at some level, is that something that has grown as well? There's a reputation for
Yeah, very much so. Our boys team has been around a little bit longer than our girls, and has done very well at the state level. And so we are kind of on the radar for that. But now that we are really starting to build our girls team, we're up to somewhere around 70 girls on our roster right now.
When Oakview Middle School opened its doors in 2002, it was considered a state-of-the-art facility. Lake Orion Community Schools had a gem of a physical building. Soon after, the efficiency and exciting learning environment matched that standard. The Schools to Watch program emerged a few years later, and Oakview was an ideal candidate for the honor, becoming one of the first 2 recipients in 2006, and then earning it again in 2010 and 2014.
So Schools to Watch is based on an effort that started around the end of the 1990s when educators were beginning to look at junior highs and saying these really aren't working for young adolescents, and so the National Forum to Accelerate Middle Grades Reform was established, and they wrote a rubric that has 4 basic areas: academic excellence, developmentally responsiveness, social equity, and organizational structures. And so we use the rubric then to evaluate schools to see if they're designated as a schools to watch. So once the National Forum had the rubric, they thought, well, we should go out and look for schools like this. And so they spent a couple years having schools apply and looking at schools, and then they selected 4. And once that was so successful and gave locations for other schools to go to learn, then they thought this would be a national project. So right now there's 18 states that are schools to watch states, and we are also working on, if you're not in a schools to watch state, then how you might have a school become a schools to watch and then bring the state on.
In early February, Oakview was back at it, showing its ability as one of the state's premier middle schools. The Schools to Watch Evaluation Committee arrived early in the morning and spent the day watching Oakview's students and staff at work.
We actually have data that shows that both school observations and 2 model schools and using the rubric caused an improvement in schools.
Have you been through Oakview before?
This is my 3rd visit here.
Okay. In terms of Oakview, do you look for certain things here versus a different middle school? I mean, are there different criteria?
No, but I do find when I do reviews across the state that schools do stand out for maybe a particular area. My first visit to Oakview, was probably about 2007 or 8, and I actually brought a team of teachers from a Midland school, and so they could come to learn and this make some changes in their building. And then I came here another time for a visit a couple years ago when we actually had a meeting here and trained people to be schools to watch reviewers.
We don't see all the different schools across the state and country and stuff. Are there things about Oakview that are unique?
Well, they were one of the first year that we named schools to watch. There were 2 schools named, White Pine and Oakview. Okay. And I think the unique thing about both of them is that they have redesignated. So every 3 years you have to redesignate. So it's the unique thing is sustainability. Probably, and I don't know the exact statistic right off the top of my head, but a lot of our schools do it for 3 years. They have maybe an administrative change or a budget cut, and then they don't redesignate. So yeah, the number of times that they've redesignated, and to sustain that momentum for that many years that's unique.
The evaluation team sat in classes, interacted with students and staff, and found their way into classrooms for 6th, 7th, and 8th graders. Lake Orion's administrative staff, including Superintendent Marion Giannopoulos, also visited during the day to help with any questions the committee had. The opportunity to reapply for the honor is a new step for Oakview Principal Sarah Manzo, who is eager for the committee of evaluators to see the school.
Well, this is would be our 4th time getting the Schools to Watch award. The first time was the initial in 2006, and you recertify every 3 years. So I guess too, also behind a driving force was Mrs. Alice Seppinen's really big push when she opened up Oakview, and with her passing this year, it was also a little bit sweet and bittersweet, I guess, to kind of signify that this is in honor of her as well, but also the whole entire Oakview community. But it really means a lot for us to be recertified, hopefully, especially with Alice's passing this year.
What did you have to do to prepare for this day?
Well, we had to have initial self-assessment and a rubric we had to work through as a staff. And then we had to fill out an entire application process reflecting on some pretty large questions and processes in our building. And then we had to earn a visit, which we do have going on. And then with our visit, we had to schedule an entire day for folks from around the county to come in and visit Oakview and just see how we live everyday life. They walk around, they go in and out of classrooms, they talk to students. We've told the kids that we have some important visitors coming today and they're ready for them. They said, "Are the visitors here today, Mrs. Manzo?" So they're ready, and we talked about just introducing yourself with a positive attitude and a smile and just welcoming them to Oakview.
Assuming you gain this designation again, what does it mean for Oakview?
I think this designation really, it just shows what a special place we are. The Schools to Watch really does just focus on the middle level, and the middle level is a very different beast. So I think that really means a lot to our staff as far as how we focus on the whole child and really deal with the social emotional piece as well. That's really significant in the life of a middle school student and just the success of the middle school in general.
February is Lake Orion's Teacher of the Year month, where each building, then each level, and finally, one individual is selected from the district. It's an extended process that began with nominations from parents, students, and other staff members in early January, and is evaluated by committees at the building level to choose each representative. At Orion Oaks Elementary, 5th grade teacher Scott Maxfield got an early jump on awards season when he was nominated and selected as the WNIC-FM Teacher of the Week in early January.
It feels good to be recognized, but all the credit really goes to the students and the families and my fellow staff and Drew, the principal. It's an award for everybody. It's nice to obviously be recognized, but it's all part of what we do, and I'm happy to help.
The contest was sponsored by Duncan Detroit, which brought him a gift basket, some donuts for the Orion Oaks staff, and a plaque. That happened to be the morning of an all-school assembly, and teacher Jessica Legros made sure the whole school recognized him.
Our very own Mr. Maxfield was honored by the radio station as Teacher.
Then Maxfield rejoined his class as his students looked at his plaque, and he told the story of student Haley Reard and her mother nominating him.
When you heard about this, the nomination, the award?
I was definitely surprised. I was very honored. I didn't know at first who nominated me, but I found out that it was Haley and her family, and it feels good to be recognized.
After 19 years at Orion Oaks, Maxfield has become part of the fabric of the school.
Scott has this unique ability to use a sense of humor to build a relationship with just about anyone. Through the transitions this year and with a new group of kids, he has made people laugh. He has used that to build this connection and just makes himself very approachable. Kids I've seen in the halls in his classrooms that go over the top to want to be around Scott, and he just has this infectious personality that is such a huge benefit to our school and to the district.
I hope you enjoy the February edition, and please join us next month for Inside the Dragons.
Inside the Dragons is produced monthly by the Lake Orion Community Schools in partnership with Orion Neighborhood Television. For up-to-date news and information about the Lake Orion School District, visit our website at lakeorion.k12.mi.us and watch us on Comcast Educational Access Channel 22 and AT&T UVerse Channel 99.